Good morning, junior students, third year students, morning classes. This is Dr. Amjad Latif Jabba, your instructor of drama. Um, it has been really long time no see, and I hope really that you fully enjoyed, and seized the chance of enjoying your midterm vacation, in fact. So, for today, we are to deal with an explication of uh, and a detailed explanation, in fact, of the second scene of Act 2, which is, of course, you will notice that as you look here at the pages, it is the longest scene in the course of the play. It runs for 25 pages, as you look here. So it's a very long scene, in fact. So that is why, for the ease of access and for the ease of understanding, comprehension from the part of the students, I am to divide this scene into five thematic parts, in fact. So that's then you will be able to understand each thematic part separately and easily. So starting as always with a very brief synopsis of the scene, you will notice that, as I said, this is the longest scene in the play. And also you will notice that the action involves, as I said, five distinct, let's say, thematic parts or movements. I will divide the scene to you according to these five thematic parts and thematic, let's say, structural movements, in which you will notice that the first part deals with the king, when he has summoned Hamlet's childhood friends, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, to find out why Hamlet has changed so drastically. And then the second part, you will see that the Danish ambassadors will come to inform Claudius the king that Fortinbras, Fortinbras, you remember him from Act 1, he is the young prince of Norway, who was threatening to invade Denmark to get revenge for the death and killing of his father. And then so in the second part and second movement of this scene, you will notice that the Danish ambassadors will come to inform Claudius that Fortinbras, nephew of the King of Norway, will not invade Denmark. And then in the third part, we'll move to Polonius, who will come to tell the king and queen that Ophelia's rejection has caused Hamlet's madness. So according to him, Hamlet is mad because of his rejected love from the part of Ophelia. Then Polonius also will suggest that he and the king eavesdrop. They will spy. He suggests that he and the king will spy on Hamlet and Ophelia to discover out the real cause of the madness. And then the king can see by his own eyes that really what Polonius says is right, according to them, of course. Okay, that Hamlet is mad and he is insane now because of the rejected love. Then the fourth part of this scene will deal with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, who are Hamlet's childhood friends, but pay attention, they are not true friends, as we will see in this scene. And then they will begin their efforts on behalf of Claudius. They will work for Claudius the king, as again as spies, to come to play games with Hamlet and to try to take information from him, because Claudius seems not to be that convinced and persuaded of what Polonius says concerning the cause of Hamlet's madness. So he will use these two persons to get to the idea of Hamlet's madness and to the essence of Hamlet's madness, and to discover the truth behind this insanity of Hamlet. The uh, number five, or the fifth part, or the last part of this long scene, we will see that Hamlet temporarily forgets his melancholy at the end of the scene, when a traveling troupe of actors, a traveling group of actors, arrives in Elsinore. Hamlet then plans to use a play to prove Claudius's guilt. So, roughly speaking, these are the five thematic parts and the five structural movements. I will divide the very long scene to you so that you can have ease of understanding and comprehension. Then, starting now with the commentary and the analysis, the explication of this scene, I will say that you remember I said that this is the longest scene in the play. Then the action has shifted back at the beginning of the scene. You will notice that the action has shifted back to the court, where the tension that began in Act 1, Scene 2 continues to build. Hamlet's behavior and attitude have changed dramatically, and this switch has not gone unnoticed by the court. Now, you know, he is pretending to be mad, and of course, everybody will notice his strange and, let's say, queer, odd behavior. Okay, so now Gertrude, his mother, has a maternal concern for Hamlet's well being, while Claudius, on the other hand, is worried because he is unsure about the authenticity of Hamlet's madness. The question Claudius must ask himself is, please pay attention to these questions. Why is Hamlet behaving this way? He has never appeared to be an emotionally frail person before. If he is pretending, what is the purpose? Okay, so even Claudius the king knows, as we know, that Hamlet is never an emotional person. He's a man of logic, a man of reason, a man of mind. He is, yes, a man of words, but he is never a man of emotions. Okay, he is, as we said many times, a student in Wittenberg, the most important university and famous university at that time. So he's just a man of reason and knowledge. He is not that man of emotions. So when he is acting in this way, and Polonius will come to tell the king that these actions of Hamlet are because of the rejected love from the part of Ophelia, his daughter. Of course, now Claudius seems suspicious of this because he knows that Hamlet is not that easily driven, emotional person, okay, to be driven just by a rejected love, to be mad and acting in this way. So the second question he asks himself is, then because he knows that Hamlet is not an emotional person, and then because Hamlet is now behaving in this very odd and weird and strange, let us say, behavior and way and method, so he must ask himself, I mean the king Claudius, then if he is pretending this madness and this madness is not real, what is his purpose? What is the purpose of Hamlet? Those two are the suspicions of Claudius and at the beginning of scene 2. So then I want you also, please, students, to keep in mind that the king is Hamlet's uncle and presumably has known the prince since infancy, so he knows everything about him. So Claudius is a shrewd. Claudius is clever, as we said and noticed many times. He understands and can therefore manipulate human nature. Hamlet is acting out of character. Yeah, he is acting just like a mad or insane person. And this alerts, this is now a light, a red light of danger to Claudius, to possible danger. Okay, so now Claudius is alert to ask these questions. Why is Hamlet behaving in this way? And if he is pretending, why is he pretending? What is in his mind? So that is why then the king has good reason not to trust his nephew, I mean Hamlet, because Claudius has a terrible secret, the secret of murdering the father of Hamlet. So discovery could cost Claudius his hard-earned criminal gains, all the gains he might lose if this is discovered, the act of the murder and the killing. Claudius might lose everything that he gained from this murder and this, let us say, top secret that is just hidden in his mind and heart, his crown and his marriage. He might lose the crown, of course, and then also he will lose the marriage to Gertrude, as well as, of course, his life. So then that is why now the king's first avenue of defense to defend himself and to discover out why is Hamlet behaving in this very weird and strange behavior and way. So the first avenue, the first step of defense against the potential threat Hamlet poses is the summoning of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, which is the first part, thematic part, and the first, let us say, structural movement of this theme. So then the king will summon, will kill, will let's say, will call two childhood friends of Hamlet, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, to spy on him, and he wants to play a game. I mean, the king. Now he will send these, and he thinks that Hamlet trusts them, so he will tell them everything. They will drive him. They will just entice him to speak out and to spill out everything that is hidden inside of him. Let us say in terms of trust, because they think that he trusts them. And then when he will pour everything that is in his mind and everything that is hidden inside of him, they will come again to tell Claudius of the real things that are inside of Hamlet. Okay, so now Hamlet's old school of friends Rosencrantz and Guildenstern will be misused by the king, of course. And then I will say, if they are true friends, they will never approve of, they will never accept such a mission. But it seems from the beginning that since they have accepted the mission of the king to eavesdrop, to spy on Hamlet, and to play this game with the king as their childhood friend Hamlet, so this means that they are from the beginning untrue, unreal friends. Okay. So the king wants them to draw out the cause of Hamlet's transformation, as you see here. Okay, he wants them to find out, to figure out what is the reason and the cause behind Hamlet's transformation. Why is he transformed? Why is changed? Why is he shifted? Why is he behaving in this way, in this strange way? So he called upon them. He summoned them to find out the real reason and the real cause of this in front of you in the red color of this transformation of Hamlet. Okay, then Claudius intends to use these two foolish men as pawns. Under the guise of paternal concern, he asked them to spy on the prince, hoping that Hamlet may share information with his peers that he could keep from his mother and uncle. So Claudius charms and flatters Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, making them feel invaluable, so important, so significant, so that they will accept to do his mission and his job. Now, Gertrude, the mother, supports his endeavor, and she starts also praising them, even implying that the two will be monetarily rewarded for their efforts. So they are not only praised, just like the king has done, but Gertrude, the queen, promised them with the praise that if they will be successful in their mission, she and the king will reward them with money, monetarily, with money, okay, so for their efforts. So as she said here, as you see, in the red color again here, I highlighted this to you. She told them that your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance. So the rewards that you will gain from the success of this mission, or the taking up of this mission on the part of the king. Okay, she told them that it is not only that we praise you, but your visitation, your acceptance of the mission, your success in the mission will shall receive great thanks that are suitable to a king. Okay, and of course those thanks that fits or that are suitable to the king, she means that monetarily, let's say money, jewels, and all these financial things and issues. Okay, so she is telling them briefly that you will be abundantly and greatly rewarded with money once you are successful with your mission. Okay, so then the insincerity of their friendship with Hamlet is clear from the fact that the two men are willing to spy on the prince and then report back to the king. So as we said, they are so it's so clear that they are not a true friends, not sincere friends, because they will accept once they have heard of the praising and they have heard of the jewels and the money that will be given to them. They are now, let's say, accepting to spy on Hamlet for the sake of the king. Then the queen seems to display genuine concern for Hamlet and may believe that his friends are sincere as well. The queen now believes that those friends are sincere, and she is now caring of Hamlet's transformation. So this is why she will get indulged in this game with the king, and with those two, let's say, untrue friends to spy on Hamlet to discover out, just like a mother. Okay, this is there's there is a great difference between Claudius and the mother. Gertrude. So the king Claudius wants to spy on Hamlet because he is afraid of the secret, his own secret, to be found out, to be discovered by Hamlet and the others, so that he will lose the king, the queen, he will lose the kingdom, he will lose all the things that he gained, and even he will lose his life. With the part or with the matter of the queen, things are different because she is the mother. Now she is afraid. She is now having concerns about Hamlet, her son. She thinks that he might be really mad. So this is why she will, let us say, she will also convince these two persons to spy on Hamlet, just because she is a mother and she is afraid of. She is afraid now her son is really mad, or she wants also to discover out, to find out, to figure out the real reason behind his madness, so that she will be able to find a cure, a treatment for him. So, of course, two different treatments from the queen and the king, I mean Claudius. They are so totally different in character. Then at this point in the play, in the scene, we cannot yet know the extent of her involvement with Claudius's crimes and the plans. We cannot say that she is having part in the killing of the king, I mean her ex-husband, okay? But her statement to Claudius in lines, 56 and 57, as you will see here, again, in the red color, okay, indicates that she is innocent of her husband's murder. Now, then we can, let us say, we can infer that she is now not having a hand, not having a share or a part in the killing of her ex-husband, from what she told Claudius in these lines. Okay, so then the queen suspects that Hamlet is hurt and angry because because she remarried so quickly. Okay, so she thinks that the real reason and cause behind Hamlet's madness is that because she married after the death of her ex-husband, after the death of Hamlet's father, she remarried so quickly. Okay, without waiting, let us say, at least 1 year. Okay, at least 1 year, 1 year, just like the tradition during that period of time, because the traditional proper mourning sadness mourning time to pass during the Elizabethan period of time and the Elizabethan era was 1 year, and this is a king. So she was really to follow the traditions and the conventions of the society and to wait at least 1 year until, or let's say, till then she will be able to remarry again. There. Later in this scene, she also accepts Polonius's explanation that Hamlet is acting strangely because of his love for Ophelia and because his love for Ophelia has been rejected. As you see here, that Lord Polonius told her that the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy is because of the rejected love from the part of his daughter Ophelia. So now she seems, I mean, the mother, Gertrude, she seems to accept this explanation and this reason to be really the possible cause behind Hamlet's lunacy and madness. So her conviction that these two sources, what are these two sources? Her quick remarriage and then the rejected love. So those two sources are creating Hamlet's agitation, according to her, and they seem to indicate her ignorance of Claudius's scheme. So she seems ignorant. She seems really doesn't know anything about the schemes and the plans and the plots of Claudius. And that is why naively, okay, and plainly, openly, she believes that Hamlet, her son, is mad because of these two sources or two reasons, two causes, two justifications. Number one, it is because she remarried so quickly after the death of the killing her ex-husband, the father of Hamlet, the late king. And then the second source or reason or justification is because of the rejected love from the part of Ophelia. Then Polonius now will come to play a game of wait and see when he enters the court. He tantalizes the royal couple by announcing that he has discovered the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy. So he draws, Polonius is always a man of words, a man who is fond of puns, a man of, he is so, let us say, fond of punning, playing with the words, so fond of rhetoric, so fond of those, let us say, high, let us say, elevated type of language. So from the first moment of his coming to the stage, to the court, now to the palace, he wants to draw attention to himself and himself alone. Okay, so from the moment he came inside of the court, he said, the first sentence he said, that he had discovered, he had found out the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy, to draw the attention of those persons who are in the court, mainly and especially Claudius and Gertrude, to him only and to leave all the other, let us say, attendants. So then, but he postpones again, as is always with Polonius. He is never direct. He is never telling things so directly. He just keeps waiting and waiting and postponing to let us just see that he wants to make himself important and significant person. Okay, so he postpones delivering his heady news, and instead he announces that the ambassadors Voldemand and Cornelius from Norway have returned from Norway Then the ambassadors bring the news that young Fortinbras, the Prince of Denmark, has accepted his uncle's request, and Fortinbras will march his troops through Denmark, but without attacking it, without attacking Denmark. So the young man, I mean Fortinbras, has promised that he will never raise an army against the Danish crown, and Claudius's diplomacy is successful once again. So as we said, Claudius is not that easy person, not that easy man. He is so shrewd, he's so clever in a very crooked and shrewd way. He is so canny, okay, he's so cunning again. So after the ambassadors leave, Polonius tells the king and the queen why Hamlet is mad. Polonius is long-winded. He likes long and long sentences. He likes to postpone. He likes to, oh, and behind all these, his aim is just to show that he is important and a significant person. So Polonius, as we said, is long-winded, even as he declares that it is best to be brief. He said he himself in this scene that it is the best thing to be brief, but still he is long-winded and he uses so long sentences and rhetorical sentences that are full of playing with the words and full of linguistic punnings. Okay, so the royal couple barely tolerates his rambling explanation. This scene is intentionally comic also, but it also divulges it also includes a great deal about the characters on stage. Okay, Gertrude prefers that Polonius get to the point. She told him, be brief and go to the point, don't use so long sentences without so much rhetoric. Polonius, however, feels excessively self-important and he will draw out his explanations as long as he can. Then Polonius starts reading Hamlet's love letter written for Ophelia. The recitation is awkward, and Polonius even seems to stumble over the words. Okay, he stumbles over the words because, of course, we know he knows nothing about emotions. He knows nothing about love. That is why, even in reading love letters, just reading them, he trembles, he stumbles over the words, and his recitation. This rhetoric man is when he recites a love letter, his recitation is so awkward. Okay, he's a man that is devoid of love and emotions. Okay, then Hamlet's letter is a conventional poem, as you will see also when you read this scene, the text of this scene. And please pay attention, pay so much attention to this idea, to this notion of the, let us say, cliches of the conventions and traditions of love during the Elizabethan time. So Hamlet's letter now is a conventional poem written in the Elizabethan style. Okay, why it is conventional, traditional in the Elizabethan style? Because the expression sounds amateurish and intense. And this letter reveals that the passion he feels towards Ophelia is a real, true one. This letter reveals just how far their relationship had progressed. Obviously, they were in love. As Hamlet will later admit at Ophelia's grave side when she will die, okay, he will even not admits his love in the letters, but he will admit that he loved Ophelia so much even, and he will reveal all his emotions over the graveside of Ophelia. The letter opens with a compliment to Ophelia. This is the tradition during the Elizabethan times or the Elizabethan era of love letters. They open with let's say a compliment to the beloved. Now here a compliment to Ophelia. Then number two, the letter continues with a declaratory verse, poetry, a poem. And then number three, the letter concludes humbly and hopefully of love to be accepted. So his use of the word machine, as you will see here, okay, um, his use, in fact, of this word, this machine to him, as you see here in the red color, okay, this machine to him means what? This word machine reflects Hamlet's low opinion of the body when compared with the spirit. So Hamlet has nothing to do with the body. He looks for the spirit, which is a very clear, crystal clear and sharp indication, a very clear indication that his love for Ophelia is a true one. It is not love for the body, okay? It is a love for the spirit of Ophelia. So then Polonius tells the king and the queen how he handled the situation after he realized that Hamlet and Ophelia were in a serious relationship. Like Laertes, his son, Polonius refers to Hamlet's noble birth and the improbability that he would be free to marry Ophelia. Again, just like Laertes, his son, when he told his sister Ophelia that Hamlet is a prince and he is not the owner of his fate to choose the woman that he loves to be his wife, because he is one of the noble class men. And you remembered we said before about the conventions and traditions of marriage during the time of Shakespeare and during the Elizabethan times. Mainly, marriages were so prepared for many reasons, almost all of them financial and beneficial reasons. So there is no place for love in the marriages of the high class people during the Elizabethan period of time. Okay, so again, like Laertes, Polonius also referred to this idea, to this notion that Hamlet is of a noble birth, and it is improbable, in fact, that he would be free to marry Ophelia, who is one of the common class women. So, as you see here in these lines in the red color, Polonius explains that with this fact in mind, he told Ophelia to break off her relationship with Hamlet. She obeyed him, Ophelia obeyed her father, and Polonius claims Hamlet became depressed and mad immediately thereafter, immediately after this occasion of the rejected love from the part of Ophelia. So as you see here in these lines now, Polonius refers to the idea that Hamlet is a prince here, and of course he is not free to marry the woman he loves, because marriages were prepared during that period of time. And then, secondly, he told the queen and the king that he ordered his daughter. I said he is not a man of emotions and he has nothing to do with love. So he ordered his daughter Ophelia to break off her relationship of love with Hamlet. So he said here that he ordered her to admit no messengers, to receive no tokens, no gifts, no tokens, no presents, and no messages, and to return all the love messages, all the love letters to Hamlet, to return them even unopened. So according to him, he is telling now the king and the queen that this is the real cause behind the madness and the change and the alteration and the shift in the behavior and the tendency of Hamlet's deeds. Okay, so Gertrude now responds to Polonius sympathetically, because now she is worried about her son and his, let us say, strange deeds recently and lately, because of the let us say the changed behaviors of Hamlet, and because he seems really to be mad now. This Queen Gertrude, the mother here, she wants to believe that this is indeed the cause of Hamlet's deterioration of character. So Claudius, on the other hand, not like the mother, is skeptical of the explanation. He is not approving of the explanation of Polonius. He doesn't believe the explanation of Polonius that the real cause of Hamlet's madness is, let us say, um, uh, the rejected love from the part of Ophelia. This is, according to Claudius, he is skeptical, he is suspicious of this explanation. He cannot believe that Hamlet, or even anyone, according to him, because again, a man who killed his brother and he remarried his let us say his ex-wife, of course he is not a man of emotions. Again, he is a man who has nothing to deal with family relations or with love or with emotions or with feelings. So according to him, he cannot believe that Hamlet or even any person in the world could lose his mind for love. Okay, so no matter what Gertrude wants to believe, and no matter what determined Polonius is to maintain his standing with the court, Claudius is too alert, is too suspicious. He's too, let us say, skeptical to be mollified, to be accepting such an explanation. Okay, so then according to him, of course, such an explication is so naive, and he cannot be mollified, he cannot be persuaded, he cannot be convinced by such an explanation. So while trying to appear more important to the court, Polonius becomes less the counselor and more the fool now. He talks too much, he relies heavily on outdated cliches and parables, he has a tendency towards forgetfulness, And then Claudius is beginning to think that he will have to discover Hamlet's ruse for himself. So, because now he thinks that Polonius is a very foolish person because of the way he is talking, and he is not approving of the reason, justification, the explanation he afforded. So now Claudius said that he is to discover out, to figure out that it is his own mission, it is his own responsibility to find out the real reason of the, let us say, the strange behavior behind Hamlet's, let us say, way of moving and behaving. So, still, Claudius agrees to try Polonius's plan. In spite of this, he will try another plan with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to spy on him. But also again, he will agree on Polonius's plan to eavesdrop, to spy on the prince and Ophelia. And this scheme shows Polonius's thoughtfulness and, let's say, thoughtless cruelty towards his daughter, and he concerns himself only with the king's favor. So he has nothing to do. He is not thinking any time of the emotions of Ophelia, his daughter. He ordered her to reject the love of Hamlet. He is suspicious that because Hamlet is a prince, he cannot marry her. But he will discover later on, as we had seen before, and as we will have to see in the coming acts and scenes, that he discovered, Polonius, he discovered that the love of Hamlet towards his daughter Ophelia was a really true love, not only dallying, as he said, or playing with the time. Okay, so this scheme really of, now he will use his daughter, not only he ordered her to reject the love letters of Hamlet and to reject his love tokens, gifts, presents, messages, letters, etc., and even to see, seeing and talking to him, but now he will have a plan to use, to misuse, in fact, okay, his daughter in a very, let us say, shrewd, in a very disgusting plan, to play with her emotions, to send her to Hamlet and to see when Hamlet will talk to her emotionally about love, okay, then they thought that he will reveal, I mean, Hamlet will reveal the real cause of his own madness, or if he is feigning madness, they will discover the real truth behind of this and why he is behaving in this way. So this plan and this scheme of Polonius really shows his thoughtless cruelty towards his daughter, as he concerns himself only with the king's favor. So the king is number one for him. The king's favor, the king's money, the king's jewels, the position, the being importance, the idea of the notion of being significant are only the things that are important to Polonius, and his daughter is nothing to him. So he wagers his office on the gamble that this trick, he's gambling. You know, he's gambling with the emotions of his daughter. He's gambling with the feelings of his daughter. So and he thinks that this gambling with the emotions of his daughter, this trick will reveal the source of Hamlet's ills and sicknesses and madness. He vows, he swears that he will be a farmer and drive a cart if he is wrong. Okay, so the end of this part one, the first structural movement and the first thematic part of this scene end with Polonius giving a vow and giving a swear that if he is proven to be wrong, and that Hamlet is not mad because of the rejected love from the part of his daughter Ophelia, he promises that he will be a farmer and he will drive a cart. Okay, and then of course we will see that he is wrong in this let us say inclination and in his, let us say, presuppositions, but of course he is a man of words and he will not be as good as his words, he will not be as good as his promise, and he will never be a farmer and he will never drive a cart, although he will be proven to be a very wrong person in everything that he proposes here and even in his whole life. Okay, so by this we come to the end of the first thematic, let us say, part and the first structural movement of scene 2 of Act 2. Please read the scene well and watch the explanation once and over again. And then, of course, I want you to answer this question on the Google Classroom, please. The question says, what are the traditions of love letters during the Elizabethan period of time? So please read the scene well and read between the lines, please. And then, as I said, listen to this recording and watch this video recording over and over again and answer this question, please, on your Google Classroom. Thank you very much for your attention and for being so patient to listen to the lecture. And then, of course, if you also have any questions, please place them, or anything that is not clear, not understood by you, place them on our Google Classroom so we can discuss them there. So see you with the coming lecture, inshallah, with the second part of scene 2 of Act 2. So please stay safe until that time. Goodbye.